All you need to make soap are oil, water, and sodium hydroxide. Any other thing you add, Najara. Before we jump into this tutorial, please kindly go and check out the soap making safety precaution by Angela Palmer on Google. It is very, very important. The soap recipe I'll be using is by DIYnaturals.com. I'll be replacing all this oil with just palm kernel oil. That is what I have and I'm going to make do with it. I am so excited about this recipe because it is in volume, which means you'll be using a measuring cup for this. If you don't have a scale, this shouldn't be an excuse anymore. You will need an immersion blender or a turning stick. Just anything that won't react with lye. Don't use your kitchen or morogun to make soap. Buy a separate one for soap making. I'll be using this stick I got from my backyard and cleaned it up. This is just to tell you that you can improvise. You need containers to measure out your ingredients and also to mix. And also you'll be needing mold if you have the silicone mold or any other type of mold, but if not, use what you have. In this video I did not use my glove. Please don't be like me. Take your safety precautions serious. And also make sure you walk in a well ventilated place because this sodium hydroxide gives off fumes that shouldn't be inhaled. It is important you pour your lye into the water and not the water into the lye, because if you do that, it can be very, very volatile. I'm sure you'll see that in the safety precaution. Somebody's son is helping me out with the mixing. Please be very, very careful because lye is corrosive and that's not good. So just keep stirring the mixture until your sodium hydroxide is dissolved, and then you let that sit to cool down. So this is just the basic and simple way of going about this. If you want to make it more professional, you can research more or take classes. You can also make sure you use all the necessary professional tools needed to make your soap. But basically this is just about soap making. If you want to use a plastic container to mix your chemical, please make sure you look out for this stamp. If you see the stamp on the container, it means it is safe to use to mix chemicals. It will take some few hours for the lye solution to cool down. Once it cools down, pour your oil into a bigger container that you want to use to mix the soap. This my own container is actually way too big. I don't know, maybe I was expecting a miracle to happen because this bucket is actually very big. So you go ahead and pour your lye solution gradually into the oil while you continuously mix. As you can see, because I used a hard oil, it is tracing like almost immediately. Just keep on mixing the whole thing. Once you see that your lye solution and your oil are happily married like this, that you cannot separate them again, you know that your soap is here. And one more science student, atipo chemical po. So this is just your soap. Just note that if you use different types of oil, it may not trace like this, so you have to stir for a longer period depending on your stirring tool. If you use an immersion blender, you will get a quicker trace than stirring with just a stick. Don't forget to join this DIY family by subscribing and leaving that notification bell on so that you get a notification anytime I drop a DIY. If you don't have the silicone mold, which is like one of the easiest modes to use, just go ahead and use whatever you have that you can lay your hands on. As you can see, I'm using a plastic container. Just make sure whatever you want to use, if it's not a plastic container, properly line it so that when you want to unmold your soap, it will be easy. Nigeria people go ask, e go foam? Are you whining me? Are you playing? Of course, of super course. E go foam where. So I made the mistake of not properly lining my mold in two batches of soaps that I made. and I paid dearly for it. So don't make the same mistake. Learn from my mistake and do better. So the first container was actually too full. I had to reduce it to complete the second one, and I gave that a few tap to remove any bubbles. I kept the soap for like 24 hours, and now as you can see it is ready for us to unmold it. Like I said before, you said did not properly line the container that I used. As you can see the sides of the soap, I paid for it, though I had to scrape that away. And also this container gave me a little ish, but not something too stressful. I got my soap out. And there you have it, our soap with just water, oil, and sodium hydroxide. This is when you go ahead and cut your soap into your desired sizes. If you have a soap cutter, it will be very easy, but if not, just cut your soap anyways. You keep it for 4 to 6 weeks for the soap to properly cure. The fastest method for you to determine whether your soap has cured is if it consistently weighs the same after some period of time. You will know your soap is ready. That's all about this tutorial. Don't forget to check out other videos on this channel. See you soon.